Okay, so we've been travelling for about 5 months now, and we thought we'd just do a quick little video to show everyone how it is that we've been travelling and how we've been living on the road, how we've packed and stacked everything every day, and basically just what our setup is. So let's have a look at how we've been travelling. Okay, so this is the rooftop tent that Glenn and I sleep in. I'm just going to show you how quick and simple and easy it is to set up. It's basically undoing 2 clips and then lifting it up. Simple as that. Then there are 2 poles that will hold out the awning. Unfortunately, in some rainy weather one day, we left our poles on the roof to dry and unfortunately drove off leaving them there and have lost them. So we've had to construct these just to get us through for the last little bit of the trip. But basically, if you have the original poles, it basically does the same thing and just holds the awning out, gives you a little bit of protection around the tent, and helps with like the wind and rain if that happens. Not that it ever happens when you're traveling. So that's the setup, simple as that. And then there's just the ladder to get up into the tent, which comes in its own little bag there and just stores under our setup there. It's as simple as extending it. And then there's a bracket that it hooks onto just up the top there. So it just hangs on the bracket there and extends down the side of the car for us to get up into the tent. Simple as that.
Easy as.
Tent's done. Okay, so here we are up in the tent now. So as you can see, that's the back end. This is our head end where we put our heads. And then if you spin around up on the roof here, we have got a Sirocco fan that has been mounted. So on the hot nights we can turn the fan on. This down here is the foot end. As you can see, all our bedding stays in when we pack it away, so we can keep the pillows down this end and all the doona stays in and everything packs away beautifully. And if you look down here, there are some USB ports that you can do charging of your phones if you need to. And it really is just a cozy little camper up here that we've enjoyed sleeping in. So all in all, we've been pretty happy with the rooftop tent. It's been quite cozy to sleep in. The mattress we were a little bit worried about if it would be comfortable or not, but we have slept on it now for 5 months and it is actually quite comfy. We haven't had to add any toppers or anything like that. It is the mattress that it came with and that's been fine. We have had rain in here. The canvas has been great. We haven't had any rain leaks or water or anything like that coming in, so it's been good in the rain. We have had wind. And again, it's fine in the wind, it's just like these things flap, but that is to be expected when it's windy. Probably the only thing that we've really been a bugbear for us is it does have these toggles that help roll the canvas when it's inside, but when you're going to do the zips, it does get stuck on the zip, so you're forever having to keep putting those toggles in to be able to do up the zip. So it's more just a frustration than anything, but other than that, there's not really many other things that we haven't liked about the tent. It's been our cozy little home away from home.
Yeah, it's pretty well dust proof, and there's been a little bit of dust just up on there through the thing, but we've been on quite a lot of dirt roads and dusty roads, I suppose. So. The
Gibb River, yeah, and it hasn't, even up to Cape York, we didn't have any dust inside the camper at all.
Oh no, pretty good.
Yep.
Buy it again.
Absolutely. Okay, now we'll pack it away, which is basically just the same thing but in reverse. So the ladder comes off the little bracket and it is just one of those ladders that collapses in on itself, stores up quite small and goes back in its own little bag here. So everything is quite compact. You don't need a lot of space to store anything that goes with the camper here, which is really good when you are pressed for space and when space is like golden real estate. So then to get the camper down, you get the 2 poles that hold the awning out. Again, ours are our little dodgy custom made after we accidentally drove off without the poles one day, but these are working just fine. So once you get the poles back in, it's just a matter of folding the awning flaps in on themselves like that. And then there is the big elastic that goes around it and just holds it all in nice and snug, like that. Then it's just pulling down on the handle to get the roof down, pushing in all the canvas, making sure there's nothing left out, because if you do have things left out, that's where dust is likely to come in on the camper, as it will break the seal. And then basically once it's all tucked in, it's just a matter of doing the 2 clips up and you are done. It's all packed away, ready to drive off.
Happy days.
Okay, so this is the back of the car when it's all packed and ready to travel, with everything away where it usually is. So I'll talk you through starting at the bottom and we'll work our way up. So over here in the corner we have got a 10-litre water container for our drinking water. Then we have all our camp chairs stacked here, and we have the ladder for the rooftop tent. In the drawer here, this is what's known as our lunch drawer. So it's got all our lunch items. So we have wraps, we have bread, some of the spreads and crustkits and things like that. Often on the side of the road we have what's called the tailgate sandwich bar, where we just drop the tailgate, get out our sandwich things and make a sandwich on the back of the tailgate while we're travelling. Further to the back is all Glenn's bits and bobs and things that come in handy when you need to fix things on the road. So that's our lunch drawer there. Then we have this fridge, which is more commonly the drinks fridge. We found, especially travelling along the top and through the Kimberleys, it was really hot and we needed a lot of water. So this basically became the drinks fridge. It has a lot of water in it, but it does have some other like juice boxes for the kids, maybe a Coke for Glenn to go with a bourbon at night. But that's predominantly the drinks fridge, and a bit of overflow when the food fridge is full, especially when we've just done a big shop ready to do like a 2-week stint on the road. So that's that fridge. We've just got levelers for the caravan here, or the camper I should say, and a great little Bunnings light that comes in handy when it's dark. Up here on the top shelf, this one here is our snacks bag. So that's mostly got things like muesli bars and things like that. So when we're going on walks, it's easy to just grab a muesli bar and move on. Toiletry bag. We have another 10 litres of water, because like we said, especially when we're travelling the hotter times, the drinking water was really important. So we had to have enough drinking water for us to keep filling up water bottles. So that's another drinking water. This bag here, that is mine and Glenn's bag. That's got all our clothes in it, so we share this bag. So half is mine and half is Glenn's, of all our clothes that we've had with us for the last, well, it's going to be 6 months on the road. These bags here are what we call our shower bags. So there's one for the boys and one for the girls, and basically we take these to the showers with us. It just has our towels in it and like the soap or whatever that we're going to use. We put in our clothes that we need to get changed into, and that's basically all we take to the shower with us each night when we have a shower. Further to the back, that's just our swim bag with all our swimmers, and then there is a box at the back there, and that's just got a lot of bits and bobs that are like useful. So there is like a first aid kit and some medical supplies that we might need when you're on the road and in remote areas. So we tried to cover bases, and things like card games and stuff like that, which come in handy. This box here, this is my main pantry box. So as you can see, we have just done a shop. Everything's all stacked in there, ready for, there is about 2 weeks worth of groceries that we've just shopped for. So this is the first pantry box in the back of the car and the one that we use mainly. And I'll show you the second pantry box a bit later. Up the top here, we have our backpacks. So this red one here is like the bag which carries like all the cameras and things like that when we go on walks. And the blue bag at the back is the one we take. That one has our first aid kit and snake bite kit for when we go for walks, and we also put all the water in that one too when we're going for our big walks. And then we have this box here, which is basically our top up of like drinks and things like that that haven't made it to the fridge yet. So as we take some drinks out of the fridge, they come out of that box and go in there to sort of keep the process of some cold drinks at all times. And that is pretty much everything we have in the back of the car for us.
So everything has a place.
Everything has a place. It's stacked and packed. Alright, now we'll go through our camper setup. So this here is our little bit of luxury. This is our ensuite, and this has been a game changer for us when we're camping. So by having this here, it's meant that we can be off grid and we can go to places that say you need to be fully self-contained. Usually with a camper trailer, people don't classify that as self-contained because there's no toilet and shower, but having this set up has given us that option. So this is basically an easy drop down awning basically that drops down, and then in here we have our toilet, which is wonderful. The kids and I have learned that you have to pull this handle out first before you open the lid, otherwise you get what's commonly known as a toilet spritzer and it will splash up in your face. So good tip for everyone using one of these. And the other game changer we have here is our 12-volt shower. So this here, basically we fill the bucket up with water, we boil the kettle to get us some hot water, and then this has just a 12-volt pump that plugs into the camper, and we are all four able to shower out of this bucket basically. So it's taught the kids how to have a nice quick shower, great for water saving. So that is our shower there, and then obviously the tent has little pockets for the toilet paper, and we have our soap over here. But that's our little setup of our outdoor bathroom. Right, so this is the other side of the camper now. So this is how we have been working and living on the outside of the camper. This box here was something we put on. We call it the pantry box, and basically it houses everything that we're going to need day to day. So in here it is all fully packed. We have a lot of our breakfast items are in here. Kettle, so we have an electric kettle, and we have a gas cooktop kettle in there, so depending on what we're doing. All my pots and pans and everything are stacked in at the back. We've got the breadboard, we've got the camp toaster, and just any other little bits and bobs that we might need, dishwashing liquid, soaps, all that sort of stuff. Everything that we need to have at our fingertips is basically in this box. And it just, oh yeah, and then I should mention this here is how we do our meals. So before we do a shop each week or each fortnight, it has mainly been, we basically write down all the meals that we're having for the next 14 days, 10 days, however long it is going to be until we get to a shop, and we basically shop off that list. So we're buying only what we need to eat. So I'll go through the list then and go, okay, I need 2 packets of mince, 2 packets of sausages and things like that. So that is our pantry box set up there. We then move over to our main fridge, which is this one here. So this is, how many litres is this fridge, Glenn?
50 litres.
So this is a 50-litre fridge, and we basically get everything in it. And like I said, we shop off that list. We don't have a freezer, so we've had to really look at our meats, because there have been times where it's been 14 days before we could get to a shop. But we have been lucky to find at like both Coles and Woolworths, they do have long life meats. So there's like chicken packets and pulled pork and things like that that have really long date lives on it. So we'll eat all our fresh meat first, and then we'll move on to meals that use that long life meat. And as you would have seen in our pantry box in there, we use a lot of tin veggies as well. So once all our fresh veggies are used, we then move on to our tin vegetables. And the other thing we eat a lot of is rice and pasta, because obviously they're easy to store and have long date lives as well. But we have been able to function using this 50-litre fridge, and we have been able to get enough food in it for a family of 4 and no freezer. Over here then is the kitchen. So basically there's 2 drawers that come out here. So this has like all our tea, coffee, things like that, and our plates, bowls, cups, all that sort of thing. And then this drawer here has been all our utensils, so cutlery and utensils that we use day to day. The kitchen just has a little 3-burner gas cooktop, and we do have a metal surround that goes around it, so when it's windy we can try and block the wind. Not always successful, but it's what you do when you have to. This one here is the sink, and it has a water pump just in here, so the water just pumps through nice and easily on the pump. So that is our kitchen that we have been using and cooking in for the last 5 months. So now I'll take you into the camper, where this is sort of more the kids' domain in a way. This is where they sleep. So let's go and have a look in here. So as you can see, this is set up with the kids' bed. So they each have their own, we got them a Black Wolf self-inflating mattress each, and they've been happy on those. They find them comfortable enough. And if we need to, we can just add a bit more air, because when they've been laying on them for a while, the air obviously naturally goes out. So they each have their own bed. Again, when we fold up the camper, we're able to leave all the bedding in here for the kids, so we don't have to keep making beds up or anything like that. So that's the kids' bed set up where they sleep. Now, it was a concern of mine having the kids here and us in the tent. And I was like, how are we going to, if they need anything at night? We actually have a doorbell system. So there's a doorbell in here that you might be able to see up the back, that if they need anything at night, they can ring the doorbell and it lets us know that they need something, and then we're able to talk to each other that way. So that's worked really well for us. Under the bed, this is our other bit of storage. So basically under here, each kid got 3 of these boxes. So there's 2 with clothes, and one at the back has got like their bits and bobs, and if they've bought things or anything like that along the way, it's gone into the box at the back. But the first 2 boxes are basically all their clothes. This blue box here, this is the second pantry. So as I was saying, we've got the main pantry in the car. This is like the overflow pantry. So any of the extras or things that we'll need towards the back end of the trip or the shop will go into this one. So just like extra milk, extra tins of food, and we've got some vegetables and things like that in here as well. This box here is our laundry box. So that keeps all my pegs. It keeps our detergent, our washing powder. And one of the best things I have found on the road is this wool wash. So using this wool wash, I do a lot of hand washing because you don't need to actually rinse it. So you can wash your clothes, mainly our small, so we mainly do like our underwear and things like that by hand wash. Using this, you don't have to rinse it, so it saves on water, and it also saves on washing lots of clothes when you get to a caravan park. So that's our laundry box. This is our laundry bag. So as we get dirty wash, we just put it in our laundry bag. And when we get to a washing machine, we can wash it. Tucked in here are other little things. So the kids both have a Sirocco fan as well that's able to be mounted in here for when it's hot. And that we store things like the toilet paper and stuff like that. Usually at the front here is things like our mats, jockey wheel, and the ensuite also is able to lay down in here when it's folded up as well. So that's the storage under the bed. Has had everything we've needed for the last 5 and a bit months. The other good thing we invested in was like this table. So this table is either inside the camper or outside the camper. When it's cold, wet or windy, we come in here and eat, otherwise we'll have it outside. We fold this up, it goes on the end of the bed, and then we're able to fold the camper all up, and everything again has its place. So that's our camper.
Alright, now for the power side of things. Before we left, I put a Amptron 150 amp lithium battery in here, powered it up. I'll put a DC 40 amp charger in there as well. So that charges while we are basically driving along the road, and then if we ever need to charge it if we're in a caravan park and whatnot, and we have a powered site, we can use the Victron smart charger for that. And we also put a 500 watt inverter in as well. So that the only reason we put that in was just to charge kids' laptops, do schoolwork while we were off grid. And check the battery by using the Victron Smart Shunt. Yeah, for the first month or 2, sort of checking it very regularly, all the time. But to be honest, last couple of months, got that much faith in the battery and the system that if we're going off grid for 2 or 3 days, I generally don't bother checking it. We don't even put a solar panel out unless we're staying anywhere longer than sort of 3 to 4 days. Yeah, the batteries holds the fridge up really well. And the lights and the charging the kids do. Yeah, it's really been a faultless system since we left. So more than happy with the Amptron battery and the charging system the way it all is.
Okay, we're going to show you how we pack away the ensuite, I should say. As you can see, the toilet is now stacked away in there in its nice little spot, and we actually keep the shower in the side pocket of this bag here. So as we said, everything has its own little place. Now Glenn will show you how quick and easy it is to pack away this ensuite tent. So it's just a matter of pegging it down, because when it is windy, the sides obviously do flap around a bit. So we just peg down the corners just there. of that. So we see the 4 corners. And then it is as simple as folding in the side poles, I guess you'd call them, or the arms of the tent. They just fold in on each other, like so. And then starting from the bottom, you basically just roll it up. And then it has its own little bag at the top that you will roll it all up into and then zip it up, and it's all done. As simple as that. Now this bracket here that it's on, this is something that Glenn custom made for it to fit on our camper trailer. So he's just welded a brace or bracket onto the drawbar here, and there's a nice little pole that it just sits onto. And when it's all packed away, we can basically just lift that ensuite tent off the pole, and then it stacks behind the bed where I showed you earlier on. So simple and easy, and we now have an outdoor shower and bathroom.
Bunnings mat.
And oh yes, this was our other little classic find, was the Bunnings grass mat there. We just put that on there because it drains the water through pretty well, and then we're not, as you can see, having to shower on the dirt and dust and get our feet dirty. So yeah, all good. So we've shown you how we've been living on the road, how we pack everything away and where everything goes. Now we're going to show you how the camper packs away. So you saw inside, everything's now packed. The table is now on top of the kids' bed, and there's 2 poles inside that we just lower down. So they've just been lowered down to help the roof lower. And then basically Glenn and I go around our own sides and we start folding it away. So we'll show you how that happens now. And there you have it. The camper trailer is now packed away, ready for travelling. Almost. We've just got to do the jockey wheel.
Alright, the last piece of the puzzle is reversing it back onto, or hooking up the camper to the car. So Laura and I have got a bit of a system going. I reverse and she does it all. Having the rear view camera certainly makes life easy. I just line it up. She organises the height. Get pretty close. And then sneak in. And line it up. Gives me this the thing to line up the actual hole with the pin. Yeah, that's the little signal just to go forward a little bit when it doesn't quite line up. Yep, and there it is. So yeah, so Laura's got the pin in. I'll quickly show you the rest of it. So yeah, Laura's got her job. She does the pin, and yeah, so she does the pin and I do the rest of the stuff. So we do the same job every day, every time we hook up, so that way we don't forget nothing, and yeah, nothing gets left behind or unhitched. So everyone's got a job. Yep. Same job every time.
Okay, so the car's all hooked on now and everything has now been stacked and packed away. So this is now the back of the camper once it's folded and how everything's stored. So this was the little bit at the front of the bed where we keep our mats, our jockey wheel and everything. And then as you can see, the kids' beds are stacked there, all their bedding's still on the top and the table's just sitting on top of their beds as well. So then we just close up the tailgate and we're off. Okay, so there you go. That is our camper all packed away, ready to hit the road again for another day. As you can see now, you can see how we've been living on the road for the last 5.5 months. We've been really happy with this setup and been comfortable enough in it. Probably our biggest challenge has been the wind. Cooking in the wind has been a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, a bit of a challenge.
But otherwise, everything has been pretty good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there we go.